Welcome back. Today we're going to be listening to Chapter 11 from the book Nothing's Fair in 5th grade. This chapter is called The Hitchhikers. Follow along as I read. We sang with Elsie down the first 6 blocks to the shopping center. Her little sister Robin danced ahead of us, swinging her new red purse by the chain. It was the end of April, no clouds in the sky for a change. We walked the 7th block. We dragged down the 8th. I was carrying my sweater and Kenny's sweater. Pretty soon I knew I'd be carrying Kenny. We moved more and more slowly. A flatbed truck came up the road. Diane hopped to the curb and put out her thumb. Elsie yelled, "No, Diane," and went after her. The truck came to a halt. The driver leaned out of his cab. "Where are you kids headed?" He was a gray-haired man with greasy lines on his face. Elsie backed away. "We're going to the Linwood Shopping Center," Diane answered him. "I'll be ending up there," he said. "Hop in the back." We all clambered up on the flatbed except Elsie and her sister. Elsie yanked on her sister's sleeve. "Let's walk." Her sister pulled away. "I'm tired of walking." She climbed into the truck. Elsie still hung back. "Get in, fatty, or get off the curb," the driver yelled. Diane put out her hand. "Come on, Elsie, we'll help you." Reluctantly, Elsie lugged herself up and squatted down with us. As the truck lumbered down the street, Diane said to Elsie, "See? Isn't this better than walking?" Elsie held on to the slats on the side of the truck. "Bad things can happen to kids who hitch rides. I can run faster than that old man can," Elsie's sister said. She stood up to lean over the railing, leaving her purse on the truck floor. "We'll get there in 5 minutes," Diane stated. "It would have taken an hour walking." 5 minutes passed. When 10 minutes passed, Elsie's face pinched up with worry. I watched the buildings swish by. We weren't anywhere near the shopping center. I didn't want to seem like a chicken, but I was getting an uneasy feeling in my stomach. "It's taking a long time," I said. Sharon looked out through the slats at the street. "We aren't even going the right way." "He's probably got to do an errand first," Diane assured her. "He said he'd end up at the shopping center. The truck rumbled on and on. This wasn't right at all. "You'd better make him stop, Diane," Sharon said. "Don't worry, he'll stop," Diane replied. Elsie inched over to the cab's back window and rapped on the glass. The truck kept going. "Diane, I'm scared," Sharon began to cry. "Don't be a baby," Diane said. I noticed, though, that she had her finger in her mouth pulling on the bottom of her teeth. Elsie rapped on the cab windows some more. It didn't do any good. She inched back to us. "We'd better jump." "Are you crazy?" Diane demanded. "We'd break our legs." I was thinking that Elsie wouldn't break her leg. She'd just bounce off and roll, I snickered to myself. "This isn't funny, Jenny," Sharon told me. "How are we going to get home?" Kenny twisted around in my lap and put his hands up on the sides of my face. "Jenny, how are we going to get home?" "I don't know, Kenny. How are we going to get home, Diane?" I asked. Diane didn't answer. Her eyes were shifting from side to side. She was scared. The only one who wasn't scared was Elsie's sister. She was still leaning over the rail, waving to the cars that passed by. I caught a glimpse of a street sign. The number was in the hundreds. The houses were getting farther apart. We were way out of town. I shivered with fear. We sat there like dummies, not talking or moving. Kenny crouched in my lap, whimpering for Mama. I searched in my mind for an escape. If we tried to signal a car, The driver would just wave back, thinking we were friendly like Elsie's sister. We weren't passing any police cars. The truck was going too fast to jump. What could we do? I wasn't watching houses flash by. Now, I was watching trees. Sharon kept crying and rocking back and forth, bumping my legs. I didn't dare cry with Kenny in my lap. "We'll wait for a red light and jump," Elsie said. "What?" Diane said stupidly. "What red light?" "There aren't any red lights out here," Sharon whined. "There might be," Elsie said. "There might be at a highway or an intersection. I'll watch ahead. You get on the edge ready to jump." Sharon, Diane, Kenny, and I crawled to the end of the truck and dangled our legs over the edge. Elsie lifted herself up by the slats to stand next to her sister. She tried to make Robin sit down with us, but Robin wouldn't. Elsie gave up and stuck her head over the railing to watch for a traffic light. I held Kenny's hand tightly in mine while I banged my feet on the truck's license plate to entertain him. Every once in a while, I'd look back at Elsie. She was staring straight ahead. When the sun went behind the trees, Kenny complained he was cold. I put on my sweater and helped Kenny with his. "There's a light! There's a light!" Elsie yelled. "Get ready!" The truck slowed. I jumped off before it stopped. A car behind the truck screeched to a halt. The driver hollered out his window. "What do you kids think you're doing?" I ignored him and lifted Kenny out. Sharon and Diane jumped out. Elsie came last, pulling her sister after her. Robin was screaming, "My purse! My purse!" "Forget your purse," Elsie told her. "Come on." But Robin wouldn't forget her purse. She yanked loose from Elsie and scrambled back in the truck after it. Elsie tried to climb up to get her. The light must have changed because the truck lurched forward and Elsie fell to the ground. The driver behind us blasted his horn and started coming. We scrambled out of the way. The truck went down the road with Elsie's sister still in the back. We huddled together on the side of the road, watching it disappear. And that is the end of this chapter. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Then you can come back and listen to the next chapter.